It has been 64 episodes since you've been here. 64 episodes. We're filming now.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, wow.
Well, because
so excited.
so just so everybody knows, we were talking for the last half an hour, and if we don't jump right in,
we'll just keep talking.
About P. Diddy. Anyway, yeah, so that's like my one comment, just like down the rabbit hole. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today. So you were the very first podcast host to talk about how to build a brand.
That's a good
and
one.
I'm very proud to say at episode 65, that this is still going. So,
it is.
And you're still here.
I'm still here.
But the idea I had was just recently you bought yourself a condo.
I did.
Congratulations.
And you were my agent.
I was, yes.
You were.
Anyway, so double clap. So as knowing your personality and knowing that you don't hold anything back, I thought it'd be a really cool idea to have you here and talk about your experience, because I think that when people get into this process, they have misconceptions about how it's going to work. I think they read headlines and they believe what the media wants us all to believe about the housing market, which, by the way, isn't necessarily wrong, right? Like we talked about the condo market when we got into it. It was like the condo market at this moment on many levels is a race to the bottom, but in a specific sector. So we can get into it a little bit more, but I would think that you won't correct me when I tell you there wasn't a ton that you that you wanted to see.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
He's gonna tell you. There are things in this world that I love, and there's things in the world that I hate.
Yeah, keep
and
it
looking
clean,
for
please.
a condo and a house, other than spending time with you, was one of the most terrible experiences of my life.
Like bathing suit shopping terrible, or like just a waste of time?
I love shopping, so like you're talking to the wrong person on that
No,
one.
I'm just, that
Like,
was a female.
I don't know, eating food you don't like or something, where you're just like, you're sitting at a table, you have to eat it because you have to be polite, but you don't want to eat it, and then you're like, oh my God, I have to go home and deal with what I just ate. So it's like that. Like, it just was like, we went to so many places, and every time.
And there was so much shit.
Well, there's so much shit, and then you like something, and then it's like a bidding war happening because one of the only good things on is, what's the point? Like, what, you're just going to spend all of your money, and then at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you still got to move, you still got to pay property taxes, you still got to pay land.
So interesting. So let's go back. I really want to walk through the journey that you had and like talk about, because we really started so far back. Like, when did we have?
Year and a half ago.
Year and a half ago. So, I mean, first of all, anybody who's thinking about getting into this business who thinks like you pick up a client and then you go out and buy something and you earn your commission, I'm going to assure you right now that is not how it works. So, and at least, by the way, I also think that I think that a good agent is going to make sure that you don't buy something that you're settling on. I think there are certain things you compromise on, but I said, how many times did I say to you,
how many hours do you think we spent doing this? If you had to guess hourly. 100?
Well, Joel and I, one of my regulars,
my new boyfriend.
Joel and I, Joel, I mean, I think we once had a conversation. It's like, if we actually broke down what we got paid an hour, do you know what I mean? It was, forget like going out to see things. How many hours did we spend on the phone? How many hours did we talk about if we shifted from a house to a condo, or like we talked about condo townhouses.
That was the other thing. We went from condo to house to condo townhouse to condo to house to condo townhouse. It was like this game of like, what do you want? Because you see one thing you like in a condo, and one thing you like in a condo townhouse, and one thing you like in a house, but everything else you don't like, and it's just a fucking terrible experience.
Well, because they're two different buys. I think we looked at it and said, oh, the condo market, it's a great time to buy a condo. Let's go look at condos.
Yeah.
But then there wasn't a lot of good inventory in this. So Adam wanted something was over 1,500 square feet minimum. We also needed a separate bedroom layout, okay, because he has a young daughter, and so that was important as well. We needed 2 bathrooms. There were certain things that we were looking for, and so we weren't looking for a cookie cutter 500 square foot, 600 square foot condo, which, by the way, you can pick up for pennies on a dollar at this point. So that's the other like debunk. It's like, oh, you're going into, this depressed condo market. How many condos did we discuss that we're not willing to? I mean, we had one that we had a massive.
Yeah, but look, you have to think about this, right? You're looking for a condo that's on a different level than those 500-600 square foot condos,
100%.
right? Then you have to break
But the media puts it all together. Yeah.
Then you got to break it down into who can afford this and who wants to move.
Very
now,
small amount,
Now with
yes.
who wants to afford it, everybody's going after the same exact things. It's like running a race and everybody kind of finishing at the same time, other than one person. It's the same line.
But let's
you know?
talk about, it was back in May, so now we're October. We put an offer in on that condo townhouse in Rosedale. Right, okay, he's laughing. I am in,
I forgot about that place. Oh my God.
wow, I'm shocked.
I don't care.
This
Like, she's a loser.
this was a frustrating negotiation because again, so first of all, condo townhouses are very hard to sell. You love them, I don't love them. I've talked about it before. They really don't appeal to a lot of people. You love them, it's great. It was a great condo, it was beautifully renovated on the steps to Rosedale, lovely location. Seller would not budge.
Oh, she was a piece of shit.
Well, okay. That would be, she was emotional and we sent in a very low offer. But the interesting thing is that you say, okay, fine, so sign back. She would have nothing to do with
You
that.
have to remember something though. I took a different approach.
Nothing
I
to
took,
do
I
with
took a
us.
way different approach this time where it's like when it was gone, it was gone. I moved on. I wasn't
Yes, you
like
did.
griping on the fact that I didn't get a condo. Like,
No, but as a buyer, share how frustrating that was because it wasn't
Well,
like you
okay,
gave her
here's
$1.
I think if you put in an offer, it should be a law that no matter what the sign back is, there should have to be a sign back, right? They could sign back at $100,000 more for all anyone cares, but they should be required to sign back. It is not fair that you are spending time, putting together an offer, so on and so forth, and like.
Don't worry about me.
Hold on a second. Hold on. It's not like I offered like $200 on a $2 million
But that's what I'm
place.
saying.
It was still a lot of money. Like this isn't like a little game where it's like, oh, everybody can afford this. It's still a lot of money.
Well,
A majority of the world cannot afford any of these things.
Well, and listen, we had another opportunity. We put an offer in, and the agent and I had words.
Well, he's just an idiot. We're not going to name names.
And
but
no, we're not. But a same situation where they decided because we were putting a low offer in, which by the way is my job. My job is to get the best price for my buyer clients. And the conversation was had before. I managed the whole process. We put it in and again, the seller was too emotional.
you have to remember, though, I'm pretty sure that he promised a certain price before he even got the listing. And I would imagine that's what totally bunked this, right?
Yeah,
if he
it
said,
made him
I
look
don't
bad.
know, the condo market is bad, blah, 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 and prepared her for the only offer that she's gotten, I think it would have been a way different conversation. But he said, no matter what, you're not going to get less than this. I guarantee it. I sold one for this. This is.
And then he changed the price to that.
Yeah, and it's just like one of those things where it's like, what's the point? Like, who cares? Like, everything happens for a reason.
Yep. So, I mean, that's a really interesting thing. So, as a buyer out there, you send in an offer, there's 3 things that can be done with that offer. It'll just expire. They don't actually, that by law, they don't actually even have to respond. Like, I don't even have to get an email saying, like, there's
I know, the law's wrong.
They could counter or they could accept. And I think that buyers out there don't realize that they go in. And I think that that's where sellers need to understand. I don't care what market it is that you're in, a good market, a bad market, the emotional attachment that a buyer has to go through to say, yes, I'm going to buy it. Tell their agent to put pen to paper and say, I want to put an offer in that. Don't discount that. Like that's a bit like yes, there are those people who are just like throw it in. Yeah, just throw it in. Let's see what they say. Whatever. I don't care if they take it, whatever. But most people, like 99% of people out there who are buyers, are going. I can see myself living there.
Well,
this
look
place.
what
And
happened.
like, what are you saying to them?
No,
It's
but
so
look what happened in the new
disrespectful.
place. We walked in. I was like, I want it. I need it. I got it.
Yeah, well, but it was all aligned. But then, you know what? I also say, as a buyer's agent, if your your agent knows the agent on the selling side, like it's 90% done.
If you said to me, I could redo this and I could be a real estate agent, I would rather do anything else in the world. Your job seems like.
Do you know how many people say that to me? They're like, a client.
Let me just tell you, okay? Your job, and everybody knows a real estate agent, seems like the most chaotic job I've ever seen in my life.
It's funny you say that because my husband
chaos.
says to
It's
me
chaos.
that I thrive in chaos. It's perfect.
Okay, great,
for
like
me.
wonderful, but like I don't thrive in chaos. I get to sit in my little tiny showroom and I get to have whoever I want there, and it's peaceful and it's calm, and people call me, and when they get off the phone, I'm fucking done.
So no, but by the way, I think that's a really good point, and I think that there are
and
people out there.
everybody's ready to chop each other's head off. It's wild what you guys do.
But,
all these young people are like out to like, what's the next big thing? Podcast or this or that or that. And they're thinking what the next marketing thing is. And they're thinking about what is this and that, the other. It's like there are soldiers ready to kill the generals in this. You guys are the like kind of like the older ones, but there's really, no, you
How
are.
did I become?
Well, you're 50 and there's like 19-year-olds playing this game now, right? They are creative. They are good at social media.
I agree with you.
They are ready to take your spot at whatever it takes.
So I'll agree with you. Where
It's
I will
wild.
throw. So
It is wild.
so you'll know this. You can say bullshit, Rachel. You'll call bullshit on me when
Bullshit.
I say to you. No, you won't though.
That was easy.
When you say that, you know that I am very much that realtor that believes there's enough business to go around.
I agree. I agree.
And I have a lot of respect, no matter how old you are. If you're good at it, no problem. Okay, great. What I'll say about this business though is the time in the business is what makes you good at it. Because at the end of the day, there are so many nuances to this business. I shouldn't say this out loud, but like the people that instilled faith in me in my first year or two, like you really like were playing Russian roulette, like with anybody, because there's so much. I mean, I've had, again, legally, there's so much involved in it. You can be great at content. You can be great to come up with marketing, but can you sell a house? Do you know how to read? Do you know how to negotiate? Do you know how to make sure your client doesn't get screwed? Do you know how to look for the red flags?
I'm agreeing with you. All I'm saying is these younger people are learning.
They're the next generation.
They are learning fast and they are
I
ready
agree with
to
you.
chop
agree with
your
you.
fucking head off.
And if they are looking for a team, I am hiring.
There you go. Look at that.
There
woo,
you go.
Woo, woo.
So, woo.
But like,
okay, so hold on. Let's go back to your journey. We're going to be here forever. Oh my God, we're going to get back to our P. Diddy rabbit hole. So now.
So I'm so down for P. Diddy rabbit hole, by the way.
Okay, so we go back to the summer, we talk about it, and we start going out. And you know what? As I said to you, and you can attest to this, if someone has a good piece of inventory to sell, they're not going to put it out in the summer.
Let me tell you.
Unless they're desperate to sell.
Let me remind you about some
Okay,
things,
please go.
okay? So
Yep.
I kept on saying I want to look at everything, but with the house, there's garbage day, there's grass, there's snow. That was always kind of a thing where you have to do so much to run a house.
But you're not paying maintenance
In a
fees.
condo townhouse, I get it, but in a condo townhouse, there's maintenance fees, everything's taken care of, and in a condo, everything's taken care of, right?
Okay.
So it's either like a kind of a harder, more dutiful life, I guess, or lock your door and get on a fucking plane and leave, and there's a concierge at a building.
Which is what you wanted.
Look, that can get packages, they never get stolen, and you get packages, and I get a lot of samples for my business, and I don't need to worry, right? And then I was kind of battling in my head where it's like, well, with Harper, there'd be two floors.
The outdoor space was one that you really
Yeah, but like
battled
with the outdoor, there's the Harper, there's 2 floors, and there's separation, and blah, 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 blah. But then on the other side, it's like, okay, and then in the condo, it's like, we found a condo with balconies, so there's outdoor space, and there's room, and it's big enough. And the thing about it also is, I would like to have a more simple life with less stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, Harper doesn't need many toys, you know? I don't need all these like little weird things that I have, you know? Like, I'm a collector of stuff. Well, I'm just like a collector of toys and stuff like that, collectibles and whatever, right? And I don't need all that stuff. Like, I want to have a very simple life, lock my door, go to Newfoundland, go to Italy, go wherever I'm going.
You
right?
don't need to like have a basement full of stuff.
And if you're willing to pay the maintenance fee, right? Which I know is an expense, I get it. But I broke down the numbers. It's not that much more than your utility bills every 3 months. Your property taxes are higher. Your insurance is higher. Your electric is higher. Your everything.
I agree with
like,
you.
you know what I mean? I paid $800 for somebody to remove snow twice last year.
I know.
Twice.
I know.
That's $800 twice, right? I'd rather pay the
I paid
maintenance.
$1,000 to have the guy at my cottage.
Yeah, but like I'm saying,
think
I would
once-
rather pay a maintenance fee and just not even think.
Listen, and this is the difference between. So we started
I'm also,
doing the
I
house.
understand. I'm also an old soul, like a 70-year-old. Like I'm
You
living
are.
with
You're
old
a cat.
people now,
You're a cat.
and I like it.
He
It's
wanted. He was
quiet.
like, I want to be with the Bub and Zanes.
Oh my God, so bad.
So bad.
So bad. I've had.
I
my-
still
look at-
think Lower Village Gate would have been a
Doesn't
good
matter.
one,
If
right?
remember, I lived on King Street. I had that life. It was great. It was fun at the time, but I have a daughter now. Like I want all these old people like, oh, your hair's so cute and all the bubble. Great. Like that's wonderful, you know. But they're also going to shut the fuck up.
Listen, I also think that with the maintenance fees, this is the difference, is that you have to pay it every single month, and it's a cash. Well, for you, but for other people, the difference is also like, okay, my roof needs to be redone, but you know, I'm gonna wait a year.
Stop a second though. With your maintenance fees you pay every month, you still have to pay your property taxes every year. You still have to pay your utility bill once every 3 months. You still have to pay for somebody to do your grass or do it yourself, which is time consuming. You still have to do your thing. Everything is more expensive in a house. If you break it down, it's not that much more for a maintenance fees. It's not. It's not.
And you know it's done, and it's peace of mind.
I broke it down. The electric bill alone is half the cost in a condo.
Yeah, but you're in an old house right now also.
It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to say, like, look, all the houses we looked at were old. We didn't look at a single new house.
Yeah, we were
At the price point, you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about what we looked at. So don't kid yourself that it's easier to be in a house or better to be in a house.
So what would you say was the biggest like surprise to the whole like when you were like, okay, I'm ready. You were really excited. You were like, oh my God, we're here.
How long it took? How long it took? I thought I had a lot of money. I was like, oh, I'm like flush with cash. Let's make it rain. Let's have a freak off, whatever. And like, it didn't. It was like, it's not even a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you think you have all this money. You're like working out numbers and this and that and trying to figure out what does it cost to move? Do you need a new couch? Do you need to do this? Do you need to do that? Do you need to pay your land transfer taxes? That? And you end up seeing that you just don't have that much money when it's all said and done, right? Look at if you have,
and we're not going to talk about Adam's budget, but I will say this is that, and I've said this and I mean it wholeheartedly, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you never feel like you have enough. Truly, whether you're a single person.
I have enough. No, I have enough. I have enough. I have enough.
I know you do. What I'm saying is in general, no matter if you're
I mean for this house, we made a good deal where I have enough to deal with it.
Agreed. You did very well.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
Yeah.
You know, we did really well. And that's my job. And you know what? And we didn't. And we didn't because I know the agent on the other side, she fought for her client. It's a great condo. And the reality is that we paid a fair price. It was much less, almost $200,000 less than asking. But it was overpriced in our opinion.
Hold on a second. But he also got the money. And if he wants to go to Florida, you can get a mansion with that money. Yeah. It's not like he's going to be homeless. We might have gotten a good deal, but we didn't like get it for like $500 and said, hey, screw you, old man. I don't care. That's not what we said. We gave him a good price. Like he's still walking away with a lot of money.
1,000%. There's no question whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, you did very well.
And then.
Okay, so why do you think it took so long?
And then on top of that, this old man was at least reasonable to say, oh, they needed to redo the floors. I'll give them the money to redo the floors. Like that was a good little like ending to the saga where it was like, terrible, these people aren't responding. This guy goes, you know what? They're right. Like, I'm going to do what I need to do in order to do this.
We found some
it was a decent person. But it was a decent person that was doing it.
Yes, 100%. But again,
most people aren't decent.
Hold on. We also had a good agent on the other end who had a relationship. Sorry, that's my dog. Relationship with her client so that there was this mutual like, okay, I'm the agent. I'm giving you my advice and saying, listen, you've got floors that are damaged. You're going to have to deal with this for the next buyer. So let's just say they thought, oh, we were totally unreasonable. We're not giving you an extra.
I know, but I'm saying he listened.
Exactly.
He listened. And like, I appreciate the fact. And that made me like happy that he got the deal done, right? Like this guy is not walking away with a little bit of money. Put it that way.
No.
It's not,
so it took way longer than you thought it was going to take.
Way longer.
Okay.
Way longer.
What else did you find surprising about it?
I also thought it was like the people that were like pricing these things were like living in a dreamland where it's like, you have this beautiful backyard. Yes. You have a nice house on the bottom, yes. And then you go upstairs and you have 3 tiny little shoebox rooms and 1 bathroom with a shower. And it's like, I can't even literally fit 6 pairs of shoes in one of the rooms.
Well, and that's where...
And like, I'm a guy with like probably 300 pairs of shoes. So like, what am I going to do? Just have rooms full of shoes?
I think that's
What, is Harper going to sleep on my shoes? Harper, your new bed, it's some shoe boxes laid out.
But there's a perfect example, like the under $2 million housing market. Like people still don't understand. Like you can't buy anything for under $2 million.
And you show me what it's all for. And you know what? The buyers ran away with the money on that one in my eyes.
Yeah.
The buyers ran away with the money, right? Yeah. It's either one or the other. Somebody's
Well, what
winning.
about that one that we saw that Josh had listed, remember? And we walked in and you were like, I really like this. This is great.
I'm happy I didn't get it.
No, I know you're happy. And listen, I always say.
At a certain point, I was trying to convince myself I like things, right? I was like, I need to get out of this house. I know, but. At a certain point, I was like, okay, I like it. Let's figure it out. Blah, blah,
no,
blah.
but you remember I keep saying, like, how much can I get it for? And I said, stop asking how much. Decide whether you like it or not. Then we can figure out how much it's going to be.
No, I know, but I'm saying that's how I was trying to convince myself. Like, oh, how much can I get it for? Let's try and figure this out.
You don't buy the sweater on the sale.
No, but I know, but at a certain point, I was like trying to convince myself that I like places, right? Like you saw it. Like I was like. Either I was like, oh no, I don't like it. Remember the one at York, like on Yonge Street near York Mills? Yep. Like that one we walked in and you're like, oh, I was like, I don't like it.
It's a great building. It wasn't for you. You walked in and you're like, I don't like the vibe.
I didn't even like the waterfall in the lobby. Like it's like.
Governor's Hill I've sold that building. It's a great building. But they have this waterfall in the lobby.
We have to scream at each other. We were screaming.
We're in the lobby, and I'm like, you're like, what?
No,
I can't
that's
hear
just,
you.
I was talking to the concierge guy, and he's like talking to me. I'm like, I don't know. I can't hear the words that are coming out of your mouth.
So funny.
I literally cannot. I thought I was like going crazy, but it was so loud. It was like
It was so
standing next
loud.
to Niagara Falls.
It was so loud, but it's a great building. It's in Hogs Hollow.
Yeah, but like, look, like there's a lot of things that I think you have to be prepared for. You have to be prepared for the fact that you might not get the place that you want. Yeah. You definitely, it's a give and take, right? Like you have to choose your battles in this. There's no question in my mind about it.
Correct.
I think that you have to be very, very conscious of the fact that you think you have a lot of money and maybe you don't have as much money. Yeah. Maybe you don't. And
it just doesn't go as far. You have a lot of money.
Yeah, it just doesn't
Everyone
go as
has a
far.
lot of money. If you're looking for a home and you're ready to buy a home, a condo, whatever, you have a lot of money.
all I'm saying is that you have to be realistic. And like, look, I went in very unrealistic. There's no question in my mind because I was like, oh, I can get whatever I want. I'm so fucking rich.
No, he was like, we're going to get a palace in the sky.
I'm gonna fucking have a swimming pool. I'm gonna have a fucking movie.
No, but by the way,
Like, it was ridiculous.
Remember the one at 616 Avenue Road?
No, because there's so many. How can I remember everything?
No, but I think
I barely remember my name half the time.
You went from like,
I am as
I
old
want
as the old
outdoor
people.
space, I don't want outdoor space, I love this place, I don't love that. And I think that your point about saying you have to decide what hill you're going to fall on. What is going to be the most important to you? Because it's not about settling and saying, how much should I get for it? It's like, I don't care how much money you have. I'm sorry. Even if you build, you'll never get exactly what you want. And so you have to say,
Well,
what
I
am I
wouldn't say
willing
that. If you have all the money in the world, yeah, what do you want? I think you just have to be realistic. You just have to be realistic. You know, anybody can pull up listings and you can look at the listings. What I did find amazing is the pictures
Oh, that's another one.
are a fucking joke.
In what way?
There is definitely somebody lying on the ground, pointing in the perfect direction, making it look like a big room, and you walk in and you're like,
You couldn't swing a cat.
you're
Yeah,
like,
I know.
what? You can't even fit a toilet in this room. Somehow they figure out how to elongate.
But
these
I would say
rooms,
also
right?
and we talked about this also about how you were asking me how many did we see, and I'm a big believer you have to see everything because you can say okay, I want this type of layout, I want outdoor space, I want this parking lot, I want this area, whatever, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go buy a condo, and then you go into a Governor's Hill and you're like, I don't like the vibe. You can't put I don't like the vibe on it.
I'm also a big believer that layout is key. I do.
For sure.
Layout
In a
is
condo?
key, right? A lot of, in everything, in a house, in a condo, it doesn't matter, right?
But the condo, it can kill. I have seen an 800 square foot condo look smaller than a 600 square foot condo.
But look at the condo or the house that we went to that I talked about with the little rooms upstairs. The layout is key, right? At the end
By
of
the
the
way,
day.
it wasn't that bad.
The other thing I also want to tell you is, if there's no closet space, it's a no buy. Seriously, I have
You
never
heard it here first.
I have never in my life been so concerned about something like closet space.
In a house or a condo?
In everything. In everything, right? Like that, when we walked into this place that we got, the whole layout was great. And then we walked down the hall and like Harper's room was nice and the office was nice enough. And then I saw the closet and then I saw the bedroom with a living room attached with a fireplace. Yeah. And I was like,
Done.
yes.
Done.
I was like, this shit is a golden.
Yes. Well, congratulations again.
Yeah.
And thank you. It was a journey. But I also think that you did it exactly the way it was meant to. You went out.
I want to tell you so that
you were open to everything. And then you were like, and you're also a very decisive person, as you can tell. You're like, I don't like it. And that's all you need.
I also think that when you go looking for a house, you should already know in your head what you're willing to like budge on, right? Like I was willing to budge on the outdoor space because of the bathroom place, right? I knew that was kind of like a place, right? Yeah. I was willing to budge on like maybe one of the rooms isn't that big, right? Yeah. You know, I was willing to budge on certain things, but I think if you don't like it, you shouldn't get it. Don't be like, oh well, this will be okay for a while, because in a while your condo might even go down even lower.
Well, yeah.
No, you just don't know, right? So
no, and you're also paying land transfer tax, and you got to sell it, and you pay commissions. It's not worth it.
I'm a very big believer that when you are spending your money, you should get what you want, right? So I believe that when you order food, you should get the food that you ordered, not the food that they bring you if it's wrong. If you order whatever, or you buy anything.
Or the shirts that you want,
ordered.
Yeah,
look at I make clothes for a living. I have a thing where I don't sell online. You have to come in and touch and feel, and you get exactly what you saw. That's the whole thing, right? How do you know the difference between 50 million black hoodies? You don't. How
The
would
black
you know?
hoodie that he has on is the best.
No, but I'm saying, how do you know the difference between all these black hoodies in a picture? You don't. So
But
get
most
what you
people
want.
don't know the difference,
No,
and
most people don't care until I educate them. That's what this is,
fair.
right?
And I'll close with this, and you made a very good point. Was like how annoying you find like this like job. Like you're like, I would never want to do your job, like ever. Like it's so right. And so this whole idea of people saying like, it's going to go online, and we're not going to need realtors. I believe that people who are not good at their job,
Let me ask you a question.
there's no place.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, please.
How many people waste your time?
In the beginning of my career,
Yeah. I know now you're more selective. I get it, right? And
no, I'm just so at the beginning of my career, you're willing to do anything for the experience,
exactly, right?
for whatever.
Yeah. So like, I think a good thing to do, a podcast, by the way, you heard it here, is how to avoid people wasting your time.
Like in general, just
Well, not that, and more importantly, to other like younger realtors, like
because there are a lot of people
you know,
outside
like
of my
look,
job that
if
waste
somebody
my time.
calls me up and they need my help, I am the first person to help. I'm happy to do it, But I think it's really important for your generation to also help out the younger generation.
Oh, like to do like a podcast of, kind of if you're just starting out in this business, what to look for.
Like I feel like, look at like.
Well, you have we have a mutual friend, and you introduced me to him, and I was giving him some advice the other day, and I
Dave?
think, well, yes.
Well, we're allowed to say his name. That's
Okay,
fine.
is I think the number one skill in sales is to understand that to recognize if that's the bus you can't catch. Like I'll say,
agree.
so if someone's like, well, I was calling and I said, like, why are you spending the energy chasing a bus you can't catch? Wish them all the best. Let them know you're there. And if they want to use you, and that's not to say you don't send them a hello once a year or whatever, but to continually like chase after them, you're making yourself look bad, you're annoying
Look,
them.
I know when I do my thing, I know when an account is done.
Right.
I know.
You know when it's dead.
But you know when it's dead because they just give you the ring around all the time. Like, oh yeah, I'll get around to it. It's like, okay, do you know how many hours I've spent putting together line sheets and figuring out pricing and this and that? I don't get paid hourly either, but I just know when to leave it alone. And you know what? They always come back.
And by the way, I'm that person. So that's the other thing is that I recognize it is that I've had this person with a new car. She's like, listen, she got hustle, following up with me. When are you coming in? And I said,
What kind of
listen,
car?
I don't know yet. We'll discuss off camera. But like, I was like,
It's a
I don't know.
Lambo. She's doing that good. She made so much money on my house.
No. But I was like, I said, thank you. I appreciate the follow-up. I will be in touch, and I will be in touch with her. But if you call me every day, I will stop calling you. Like, I will find someone in another dealership.
I have learned in sales that there's a fine line between pushy and annoying
Yeah.
and persistent.
Yeah.
Persistent isn't a bad thing. Pushing and annoying is a very bad
No, but
thing.
so again, knowing the cues. So I said to her, listen, I'm swamped this week between the Jewish holidays and everything. I said, but she's like, okay, I said, maybe on the weekend, do me a favor, follow up with me on Friday. I'm done.
Great.
But if
I
I were to say that to you and then you followed up the next day, I'd be like, you don't know how to do your job.
I know, but look, I think that I would never want to be a real estate agent.
I don't know how we got into another
No, but look,
episode
I don't want to be I would never want to be a real estate agent because I don't like my time being wasted. Like, your most valuable thing in the world is time.
Yeah, but hold on. The reality was, first of all, you're also a very good friend of mine, but I spent a year and a half with you. That wasn't a waste of time.
I agree, but I'm saying for people that do end up wasting your time, there are plenty of people that waste people's time. Like, there just is. I know stories. It's not like I'm...
Yeah, no, 100%. Listen, I had one in the last year, and I really believe that it was they didn't do it on purpose.
No, I'm talking about more the younger people where it's like, like, show me 80 condos and I'll choose one, and then they just find their friend and they do it with their friend.
No, because you start with, okay, have you gotten pre-approved? Who's your mortgage broker? Okay, let's talk to them. Where do you want to? And you'll start to see right away.
I will bet you that a lot of young people don't even ask those questions. They're just so eager to get the sale. They don't even think about it.
Yes, and then they end up 6 months later going, what's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, I've only been in my job for whatever. I just like, of course. And listen, I've said this to other, like, if you have someone who's like, oh, I'm looking for something, and you don't know them, like, I know you, so it's different. I'm not going to be like, oh, did you talk to the mortgage? But like, you say, hey, first of all, you should know the mortgage broker. You should know the lawyer. It should be a team effort, because you don't want to get to that point and go, oh, I didn't know that. Or do you not have landed status in Canada? Like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I just think it's just one of those things where it's like, I would never want somebody to waste my time. And I would just be like resentful at a certain point after a certain amount of times. And it would just drive me crazy.
Yes, I know.
You know what I mean?
But you are in that same business. I mean, I think in some level we do the same thing.
Well, we're in sales, yeah, granted. But like, I also am very,
but in the sense of sales that you do a lot before you get paid, just like I do.
No, I get paid before I do anything.
So we'll leave it on that note. I don't.
I make people pay half up front, half on delivery. Like I won't even start a job. You know what I mean? Like I refuse.
But that's smart. But that's smart.
Well, I'm also making custom stuff. I'm not selling something.
No, I know.
That's
It's
out
not like
there,
you can
right?
resell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Camp New Moon sweatshirts.
Get a hold of them. I'll make it for them.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say we'll put your
Black hoodies.
Bledin & Co. The best swag in the city.
Woo
Thank you. Okay, we're done.